A team of scientists feeds grainy X-ray images into a powerful computer model.
Looked at the results, it was astonishing. We've had to rethink the history of technology completely as a result of this single object. It's such a clever, extraordinary, sophisticated machine.
Their goal? To solve a 2,000-year-old puzzle.
Anything from ancient Greece simply shouldn't have gear wheels. These were precision gears with teeth about 1 millimeter long. And this was just completely shocking.
The puzzle is the Antikythera Mechanism, a complex clockwork device found in a shipwreck. For decades, its missing front half has been a complete mystery. But now, the model has finally reconstructed it, gear by gear. And the calculations this ancient computer was performing are staggering.
It's a dedicated calculating machine, and it uses bronze gear wheels to calculate the cycles of the cosmos being the sun, the moon, the planets, against the stars.
It wasn't just tracking the known planets. It was mapping something far more complex, a cosmic cycle that modern science has only recently confirmed. This discovery changes everything. How AI decoded the lost cosmos. The model began its work, guided by the principles of ancient Greek mathematics described by the philosopher Parmenides. The thing nobody tells you is that the Greeks had incredibly specific rules for how the cosmos should work, and the AI used these rules to test countless combinations of gears. It was looking for a perfect system, one that matched the faint inscriptions and the known astronomical cycles. The first major breakthrough came from a tiny inscription on fragment A, which mentioned a 40-year cycle. This was a clue no one had fully understood before. The AI, however, connected it to the planet Venus. You see, the ancient astronomers knew that Venus completes a complex cycle every 462 years. The AI figured out that the Greeks had designed an incredibly clever gear system to model this, using a 63-tooth gear and a pin-and-slot mechanism. To put it mildly, this was an engineering feat that experts thought was impossible for that era. But the real shocker came when the AI reconstructed the entire front display. It wasn't just a simple map of the planets. The model revealed a stunning system of nested rings, a true cosmos in miniature. At the center was the Earth. Around it, pointers for the moon and sun moved, with the moon's pointer carrying a tiny, half-black, half-white ball that rotated to show its phases. Then came the rings for the 5 planets known to the ancients: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Here, the design was jaw-dropping. Instead of just one gear per planet, the mechanism used a series of gears within gears, almost like a Russian nesting doll of clockwork. This allowed it to replicate the strange retrograde motion of the planets, where they appear to move backward in the sky. This discovery was a complete game-changer. For decades, historians assumed that the first machine to model this complex planetary motion was built in the Renaissance, more than 1,500 years later. The Antikythera Mechanism proves they were wrong. The ancient Greeks didn't just know the planet's cycles, they could build a machine to predict them. This level of mechanical engineering was simply not supposed to exist in the 2nd century BC. It was like finding a jet engine in a pharaoh's tomb. The calculations it performed were so precise they could forecast astronomical positions for decades, even centuries, into the future. The very existence of this device means we've had the timeline of technology completely wrong. But the most shocking discovery might be what the device represents. It wasn't just a calculator, it was a philosophical machine. It was built to show a perfect clockwork universe, a cosmos governed by mathematical rules, not the whims of the gods. It was a bold, almost defiant statement of scientific understanding. The machine's calculations were a testament to human intellect, a belief that the universe could be understood. And this, perhaps, is the most startling calculation of all. Not a number, but an idea so advanced that history wasn't ready for it. The AI didn't just rebuild a machine, it resurrected a lost mindset, a window into a forgotten golden age. From shipwreck to world wonder. The story of the world's most mysterious technological artifact begins with a storm. Around the year 1900, a crew of Greek sponge divers was forced to take shelter from a violent gale near the tiny remote island of Antikythera. When the storm passed, one of the divers, Elias Stadiatis, decided to explore the seafloor. He descended to a depth of about 150 feet. But not all things are what they seem on the ocean floor. Instead of sponges, he saw a haunting sight, a field of rotting corpses and horses scattered across the seabed. Terrified, he surfaced, telling his captain he had found a heap of dead people. The captain, thinking the diver had lost his mind from the pressure, went down to check for himself. What he found was not a graveyard, but a shipwreck, its treasures guarded by the sea for 2,000 years. The corpses were magnificent bronze and marble statues. Word of the discovery reached the Greek government, and soon the first major underwater archaeological dig in history was underway. For nearly a year, the divers worked in treacherous conditions, bringing up a spectacular haul of ancient treasures. They recovered stunning bronze statues, including the famed Antikythera youth, along with glassware, pottery, and coins. All of it was sent to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. Buried among these priceless works of art was an unremarkable, corroded lump of bronze about the size of a large book. For months, it sat in a museum storeroom, completely ignored. Then, as the lump dried, it cracked open. Inside, a museum worker saw something impossible, the faint outline of gear wheels. In 1902, an archaeologist named Valerio Stace was the first to realize its importance. He saw the precision-cut teeth and inscriptions, and guessed it might be some kind of astronomical clock. But his idea was met with ridicule. The experts of the day simply couldn't accept it. To them, gears this complex didn't appear in history for another 1,000 years. The artifact was dismissed, labeled as a curious anomaly, and once again, it was almost forgotten. But a small group of researchers couldn't let it go. Over the decades, they painstakingly studied the 82 fragments. Progress was slow. It wasn't until the 1970s, with the invention of X-ray imaging, that the world got its first real glimpse of the mechanism's hidden complexity. The images revealed a stunning arrangement of at least 30 interlocking gears, far more intricate than anyone had dared to imagine. This was no simple clock. It was a machine of profound genius. The discovery was a profound shock to our understanding of history. Mapping the heavens with gears. Long before AI began to digitally reassemble the Antikythera Mechanism's missing front, scientists were already captivated by what they could see on the back. You see, the back of the device survived in much better condition, and it held the keys to its primary functions. It featured two large spiral dials that looked almost like stylized shells. These weren't for decoration. They were sophisticated calendars that tracked the intricate dance of the sun and moon with a precision that was, to put it mildly, astonishing for the ancient world. The upper dial was built around a 19-year cycle, known as the Metonic cycle. This was a crucial piece of knowledge for the Greeks. It's the period over which the phases of the moon realign with the solar year. By tracking this cycle across 235 months, the mechanism could keep a lunar calendar perfectly synchronized with the seasons, which was essential for timing festivals and agriculture. Below that was another dial, even more complex. This one tracked a cycle known as the Saros cycle, a period of 223 lunar months, or just over 18 years. Many people are crazy about this feature because the Saros cycle is the key to predicting eclipses. An inscription on the device even explained how to use it, noting when a solar or lunar eclipse was likely to occur and even what time of day it might be visible. It was a portable oracle, a machine that could predict one of nature's most dramatic events. Tucked inside the Saros dial was a smaller dial that tracked an even longer period called the Exeligmos cycle, which spans 54 years. Its purpose was to make the eclipse predictions even more accurate by accounting for the slight drift in the Saros cycle over time. What many overlooked is that this wasn't just a scientific instrument, it was also a social one. Another dial on the back was an Olympiad dial, which tracked the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games and other major Pan-Hellenic games. By turning a crank on the side of the box, an ancient user could see the entire cosmos, both heavenly and earthly, laid out before them. They could know the phase of the moon, the date of the next Olympics, and the timing of the next eclipse all at once. Even with just the back half understood, it was clear that the Antikythera Mechanism was an object of immense intellectual power. It combined astronomy, mathematics, and engineering into a single, beautiful device. But the secrets of the back dials only made the mystery of the missing front even more tantalizing. If the back was this complex, what mind-bending secrets was the front designed to show? A secret kept for millennia. The sheer genius of the Antikythera Mechanism raises the most obvious and frustrating question of all. Who could have possibly built it? The device itself offers no signature, no maker's mark to give us a clear answer. The thing is, we're left with a historical detective story, piecing together clues from ancient texts and the shipwreck itself. One of the leading theories points to the island of Rhodes. In the 2nd century BC, Rhodes was a bustling hub of commerce, but it was also a world-renowned center for astronomy and engineering. It was home to the great astronomer Hipparchus, who was often called the father of trigonometry. He cataloged over 850 stars and developed theories on the moon's motion that are so precise. They are reflected in the mechanism's own gearing. Another compelling clue comes from the Roman writer Cicero. He wrote about a bronze machine built by the legendary inventor Archimedes of Syracuse that could model the movements of the sun, moon, and the 5 planets. Cicero claimed to have seen it himself. Archimedes was tragically eliminated by a Roman soldier in 212 BC, about a century before the mechanism was likely built. However, the tradition of his workshop and his incredible knowledge could have easily been carried on by his students. The Antikythera device might be a more advanced version of a machine Archimedes himself designed. The shipwreck was a Roman vessel, and many of its treasures were Greek. This suggests it was likely carrying plundered goods back to Rome, perhaps from Rhodes or Syracuse. A priceless, one-of-a-kind scientific instrument would have been a prize trophy for a wealthy Roman patron. But this raises an even deeper mystery. If the ancient Greeks were capable of building a machine this advanced, why did that technology vanish so completely? Why was nothing remotely similar seen again until the massive astronomical clocks of 14th century Europe, more than 1,500 years later? The answer may lie in tragedy rather than mystery. When Rome conquered Greece, the world changed forever. Libraries were looted, cities were burned, and the great centers of learning that had once driven human progress were silenced. The minds who built such wonders may have perished in the chaos, taking their secrets with them. There's also a more practical explanation: bronze. In the ancient world, bronze wasn't just a metal, it was currency, power, and survival. In times of war, statues, tools, and even scientific instruments were often melted down to forge weapons and armor. It's entirely possible that countless devices like the Antikythera Mechanism once existed, only to be sacrificed to the fires of war. What we found beneath the waves may not be a one-of-a-kind marvel, but the final survivor of an entire lineage of machines. Intricate, precise, and centuries ahead of their time. The Antikythera Mechanism could be the ghost of a lost technological civilization, a glimpse into a chapter of human history erased by conquest, greed, and time itself. It's a haunting thought. The ancient world may have brushed the edge of the machine age, only for it all to vanish in the smoke of conquest. The Antikythera Mechanism is proof that brilliance once burned bright, then disappeared. What other marvels might have been lost? Devices of impossible precision, inventions centuries ahead of their time, shattered by war or swallowed by the sea. Somewhere beneath the ruins and silt, fragments of forgotten genius may still lie silent, waiting for a diver's light or a shifting current to reveal them once more. A whisper from an age that nearly reached the future. Is the Antikythera Mechanism proof of a lost golden age? Or is it evidence of something even more mysterious? Let us know your thoughts below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.